Maffey with the Plymouth Rotary Club and the current secretary.
And I'm Mike Carrier, and I'm a past president. And Sarah and I are part of Plymouth, as she said, which is one of about 35,000 Rotary clubs all over the world, 1.2 million members. Just like us, men, women, friends, neighbors, business people, community leaders, retired folks who come together to address issues to make the lives of individuals and their communities better, both here right in the local community and all over the world. Sarah, why don't you share a little bit about what Plymouth is like right here in the local area?
Yeah, absolutely. So our club services pretty much the immediate SAU 48, so it's the surrounding communities, and we have local entrepreneurs, retired folks, just like Mike.
I'm supposed to be retired.
Yeah. And they come together on Wednesday morning. We meet at the Common Man at 7 a.m.
You're invited.
Absolutely. We have some breakfast, some fellowship. We listen to some speakers, some area issues. Every one of us has a chance to bring someone in that's of interest to us so we can share what we learn with the rest of the community. And then from that, we have other interests that we kind of need to support in the area. So local nonprofits or other area issues that we need to bring awareness to. So from that, we create events and we invite the community to help us either hands-on or raise funds to support them.
And one of the biggest fundraisers, which I hope you've been to, is our annual penny sale, which is held up at Plymouth Regional High School on the first Saturday in November. And it is a fantastic time.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Fun had by all.
It is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we raise a lot of funds at that event for our scholarship program, which Mike knows a lot about.
Well, in fact, just this week I picked up 78 scholarship applications from Plymouth Regional High School. So we want to be able to help at least, generally we give out about 10 scholarships in a year, about $1,000 each, which really helps our young people from this community be able to make that next big step in their lives to higher education. So that's a major effort that all of you really help us to accomplish.
Absolutely. And those folks come back and give us updates periodically as to how they're doing in their studies. And it's really fun to be able to be a part of all of that.
Amazing leaders being developed right here in the local area. It's great.
Yeah.
The other big thing we like to do together, and it involves, again, so many of you out in the community, is our annual holiday parade here in Plymouth.
So
right?
much fun. So much fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a big effort put on by the Rotary, but with a lot of community support. And you folks have probably been there, and it's a great time, and there's a big barbecue afterwards.
Fireworks.
Oh yeah, it's so much fun.
A lot of parade right down Main Street. Santa. It's a lot of energy and excitement around that event, and it usually falls early in December, doesn't it? So keep your eyes open about that schedule as well. So holiday events. The other one, we're putting in all of our fundraising stuff here because that is the key for us to be able to do what we need to do in the community to make it better. And the other one is a raffle that we do. And is it our Christmas in July raffle, which is a lot of fun. It's scratch tickets, and about $1,000 worth of scratch tickets get raffled off. So look for us in the summer months to be out there to include you. Maybe you'll be the lucky one. But again, these are all things that help us to do the kinds of things we do. Two places I think that for me locally are really important is the Pemi Youth Center.
Absolutely.
That's a great connection that the Rotary Clubs had down through the years, and I know one of the events I always look forward to that we do together is at Christmas time to go down there and celebrate with them and the Christmas carols, right?
Yeah, that is a great time.
Yep, absolutely. We are able to often help provide coats and other things that Jess tells us that the young people need, but it allows us to come one evening in the year and really mix it up with the young people who are part of the Pemi Youth Center. So that's absolutely wonderful as well. And one of the other things Sarah mentioned, Katie.
Yes.
When we're trying to work with young people here, Katie's a big part of it. And one of our club members happens to be Executive Director, Deb Narrow. So Katie is a good outlet for us in terms of help in the local community.
Absolutely.
What else can you think of that we're involved in?
Well, not just people. We have the rabies clinic. We
just did that, right?
We just did that, so we take care of all the animals.
Yep.
Let's see, we have the concerts in the park.
Concerts in the park. Come and get a hamburger or a hot dog when we're down there this summer.
Absolutely, at the Rotary Amphitheater. You see the Rotary name everywhere, but now you get to put some faces to that name. That's us. Yeah, there are so many things. We have an exchange program too. So
we have a student coming in this year, don't we? That's one of the other great things about being connected to an international organization like we are, is that we can reach out, we can send kids from our high school to another country to study for a year, bring then a young person from that country right here into Plymouth. And we have one coming in. We had one last year.
We did,
And now we've got another young person coming in this year.
Yeah.
If you want to be a host family, that would be awesome. Just get in touch with us because we're looking for people here in the Plymouth area with kids in the high school.
Absolutely.
That would be a great fit to host perhaps for 2 or 3 months while the student's with us.
Yeah, and even if you're not able to host, to be able to interact with those students. I took
our
last exchange student up the Mount Washington Cog Railway with my family. That was a great time. We were able to spend the day, and we learned a lot about each other in that process. It was a lot of fun.
That is, absolutely. Trying to think of something else. Oh, the other thing that we were a part of, one of the initiatives locally that we were part of, was the starting the Friends of the Pemi.
Absolutely.
And all the development down at the Livermore Falls area, great beach area now. Down there on both sides of the river, and we're still heavily engaged as a club in that activity.
Yeah, and I think that's the key for Rotary, is we have members that have diverse interests in the community and internationally, and it's just kind of a launching pad for the programs that they want to support. And we're just a giving organization, so we try our best to give the manpower, if not the financial backing, if we can raise funds for it, to help support all of these efforts.
In fact, one of the things that we were looking at this morning at the club meeting, again, Wednesdays, 7 o'clock at the Common Man.
7 a.m.
7 a.m., yeah. There's a big difference in where that is. But one of the things we're looking at, again, one of the great connections we have in the community is with the Circle program. And one of the things I've always looked forward to is, as we get near the beginning of another year of Circle out at their camp, is that we all get to go out to the camp and help get it ready for the girls to come. And so that's another great connection that we have that's happening in the next few weeks.
And throughout the year, we get to go back to the Circle camp, and the girls that are there give us tours and kind of show us around. And it's really great to be able to see what we're a part of.
Yeah, and affecting those lives. I want to mention one international aspect, because Rotary, again, as an organization, taking leadership back in 1985 to launch the global initiative to eradicate polio worldwide. In 85, Rotarians said, we're going to take that on. We think we can do this. And 88 is when it really launched in its global effort. At that point, there were 350,000 cases of polio reported in 88. In 2015, we're down to 40. We've been able, with partners like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the World Health Organization, been able to immunize so many children all over the world. The only 2 countries, I believe, right now that still where polio is endemic is in Pakistan and Afghanistan. Nigeria is close, I think, to being finished with active polio cases. We're still watching that closely. But to be a part of something like that makes such a difference in the world to so many families. And I know I grew up in a time, maybe not you, Sarah, I grew up in a time when me and my fellow students in elementary school, that was a real concern for us, getting polio. We had kids that had polio, maybe in our own families, and to be part now of an effort that literally wipes that disease off the face of the earth is absolutely an amazing thing to be a part of as Rotarians.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So if you're interested,
if this is the kind of thing you want to do,
whether you have interest in local, national, global giving and activity, then absolutely come and see us. Reach out. Mike and I are here. You can find Rotarians almost anywhere that you turn around. Your banker, your hardware store guy, your insurance agents. Oh gosh, we're everywhere.
Yep. Absolutely. So we invite you to come. Again, Wednesdays, 7 o'clock in the morning at the Common Man, and we'll be glad to welcome you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Steve Rand, and this is Ken Evans.
Good morning.
We're here to talk to you about Friends of the Pemi, Livermore Falls, the Pemi-Jawasset Corridor, and an organization that we are a part of, which is a sub-organization of the Plymouth Rotary. So we're all in order from the Rotary. So our interest is in the Livermore Falls area and in the Pemi-Jawasset Corridor. But we've been working as an organization for about 3 years now.
Almost 4 now.
Almost 4 years now. Attempting to assist. So the whole idea of the friends thing is we are friends to not only people around us, but we're also friends to the state. Because the piece of property that we're talking about around Livermore Falls is owned by the state of New Hampshire. It was acquired in a couple of big parcels, and it is on both sides of the river. So it's over on the what we think of as the Plymouth side, which is actually the Campton side, up past Old Wilson Tire, and what we know to be in Holderness, which is near the Livermore Falls Trailer Park on 175. So you really have to take an airplane to get a really good view of the entire thing, because you can only see half of it from each side. And so when you do that, you begin to appreciate that this is an area that has a tremendous long history that goes back to Native Americans used this area. Falls and water power always been part of human industry. The natives used it. When the colonials came in the middle 1700s, they were very attracted to falling water. Because it represented power. So the Livermore Falls has this long history of various kinds of industry associated with it, starting with Moses Little, who had a I believe it was a shingle factory, and water power was used by damming up the part of the river on the east side, on the Holderness side, and directing it down through the mill, creating water power to make shingles, and then lots of tragedies, lots of burned buildings along the way. And around this industry rose a community. So there's actually the remains on the Holderness side in the area that you might know as the beach. Is littered with structures, some small, with the foundations of structures that existed there before. There was a farm there. There were lots of outbuildings. There were at least 4 or 5 different mills that existed on that side. A dam structure, and then of course what we know now as the beach, which happens to be a wonderful recreational area as well. So and later in the evolution of the historical process, on what we know now as the mill, which is on the west side, on the Plymouth side of the river, was built in the late 1800s, and it was a pulp mill, and they built it right in the middle of the river. Actually, not quite, but the river came down on two sides around a rock formation, and they built that on the west side of the rock formation. It's very interesting, very hard to do. That they built this substantial building there. So all I'm saying to you is there's a lot of rich cultural history there. It illustrates the tremendous industry of our forefathers that give us that gave us a leg up on being the richest country in the world. Which if it wasn't for their industry, we would be much further behind. So it's an interesting place to visit. It has a wonderful natural beauty. Everybody likes to see water coming down for some reason, and it's also if you should decide to go there, try to find a time when there is either a flood or a close flood to it. It is amazing the power of that water going down through there. So the historical aspect, the environmental aspect, all these things wrapped into a bunch of friends that are trying to make it raise its awareness in the area. And Ken will tell you a little bit about our organizational process that has led us to this point and us being before you today. So take it away, Ken.
Well, as Steve said, the state acquired the property on both sides of the river at Livermore Falls back in the early 90s. They did that with a grant from LCHIP. Immediately after that, they turned the management of that area over to Fish and Game. With limited resources and lack of supervision and monitoring over the years, Livermore Falls, the area became kind of a nuisance area where more bad things were happening down there than good. In 2012, as a result of the town of Holderness realizing that over 40% of the summonses written by the police department were from Livermore Falls, parking tickets, drinking, a lot of other things that were going on, vandalism, a group of engaged citizens came together with the help of Executive Counselor Ray Burton to see if there could be a potential solution for this. They began meeting on a monthly or every other month basis to address those issues. In 2013, after having this group grow kind of exponentially, they realized that there were so many different constituents. They had the Holderness School, they had PSU, the public school system in and around the communities. Several folks from government, all the town administrators. So the group was becoming large and unwieldy, and so they came to Plymouth Rotary, which has a long history in Plymouth and the surrounding communities of organizing events, and said, look, will you guys take over the coordination phase of where we're going into now? So we said yes. It sounds like a great project. Steve and I have been involved since the beginning in 2013 of our involvement. We organized visioning sessions that were held in winter of 2014. We worked with the state, who at the time had finally decided that this is a unique and very beautiful state park opportunity. And so DRED, which is the overseer of the state park system, came back involved and took ownership of the property, or I should say monitoring and supervision, back over. They've been an instrumental piece of our friends group. They meet with us every 6 weeks, like clockwork, to talk about what's going on there. In 2014, Holderness continued a law enforcement presence at the site during the summer. The Friends Group donated picnic tables and grills, bike racks to the area to help improve it. And the summer was much improved from the way it had been in the past. In 2015, this last summer, We actually held greeter events there. We had a second Saturday program, which we will continue in 2016, where on the second Saturday of each of our summer months, we held different presentations, from a cleanup day to a water safety course. We did water quality testing, and we also did a historical presentation going over some of the things that Steve mentioned earlier. So it was a very, very successful summer. This year is going to be even bigger for us. We'll continue the second Saturday program beginning at noon each month on second Saturday. We'll continue our greeting program, and you'll see some amazing improvements to the Livermore Falls area, especially on the Holderness side. The state, with assistance from Jeannie Forrester and again DRED, decided to put enough money in their capital budget this year to build a new parking lot. So our parking lot there will expand from approximately 25 spaces to 70 spaces. In fact, construction is beginning as we speak. On doing that, it should be in place by June 15th. They're going to build a kiosk where a state attendant will now welcome people, talk to people about the park. And it's just been an amazing collaboration between all the different constituents. And finally, after almost 4 years, we're beginning to talk about the Campton side of the river, access from Route 3, and the improvements in both safety, viewing, and whatever else, and the educational, historical, interpretive information that we can go over there. You've all heard about the fine that was leveled against the Groton Wind Farm folks for some building problems. The state actually has given that money. It's $150,000. They've given it to DRED, and DRED has committed to spend that money on the Campton side to shore up the mill, to create viewing areas, and whatever. And so we're really excited about those improvements.
And access over the rails is going to be part of that process. We understand. There's still a good deal to be determined about how that's all going to come together, but we're looking forward to making it very accessible and able for folks to get there, and very well interpreted, so that people will understand what this is all about, and how it really how it evolved, and the history. And then there's lots of interesting geology there. I mean, we have the substance known as Camptonite, which happens to have been named for the town that it was found in, which is at Livermore Falls. There's a whole range of really interesting and important aspects of our local heritage and our local ecology that are represented there. So.
And I think you will see from this presentation that we have a long-term, and I mean long-term, commitment to this Livermore Falls area. We think it's going to be an asset that our surrounding communities can use for years and years in the future. So it's also a prime example, I think, Steve, of how a group of committed, engaged citizens on a completely volunteer basis can get together and do things with the state, with others, that and really make good progress. So we welcome your commitment, we welcome your participation. livermorefalls.org. Send us, or you can reach us by email. Let us know if you're interested. We'll put you on the list. You can join our meetings. You can help volunteer. We're anxious to get as many folks excited about this area and as enthusiastic as we are.
Right, sure. And another good way is to reach us on, or become aware of our activities on Facebook at Friends of the Pemi Livermore Falls Chapter. Friends of the Pemi, Livermore Falls chapter.
That's right.
So let us know what your experiences are at Livermore Falls. Tell us like what happened when you were a kid there. Tell us the
legal stuff.
What can be done, right? The legal stuff. Well, we don't want to exercise too much control, but there are lots of ways to get involved. Come to one of our events. Check our Facebook page, check our website. Talk to Ken or I.
We'll also be there every Saturday and Sunday in July and August, waiting to say hello to everybody who comes. So,
cool. Thanks for having us here. We are very, very pleased that you had this event, and we hope that all the other groups have an equal opportunity to get their message out.
See you soon.
Good day, I'm Frank McLean with Pemi Valley Habitat for Humanity, based here in Plymouth on Tenny Mountain Highway, across from the Flowersmiths, which everyone seems to know, which is great. And we are building homes and helping families in the Pemi Valley area. We've been in service to the community since 1985, which a lot of people aren't aware of, which is great. We want to get that message out to the public and really start to re-engage the community with what we're doing locally. For 2016, we have 14 projects that we're working on that we're trying to fill right now with positions from needy families locally. We're trying to do one family in each of the towns that we service. Thornton, Campton, Warren, Wentworth, Rumney, Groton, Dorchester, Bristol, New Hampton, Holderness, Plymouth, and Ashland. I believe I got them all. Hebron. I didn't mean to leave Hebron out there. So we're looking for families that need some exterior repairs, light repairs that might be 1 or 2 days of service, that we can engage volunteers from that community to reinitiate a relationship with Pemi Valley Habitat, trying to reestablish the volunteer bases in each of the smaller towns that we may not have serviced in the last few years. So that's our mission this year, to really publicize what we're doing, get the word out, and get that feeling that people I know have. They want to be out there and swinging hammers and doing something positive for the area, for the community. So our offices are at 583 Tenny Mountain Highway. Again, it's across from the Flowersmiths, and that's the office for the affiliate, as well as our retail store, the Restore. I'm sure everyone's familiar with it. We've been around in Holderness and in Ashland for a number of years, selling great, just absolutely wonderful products. It can be stoves, bathroom vanities, ceiling tiles, roof material, just a number of different things. Just wonderful items that we are able to pass to the community at a huge savings off of what would be normal hardware store and big box store type pricing. We also have a ton of furniture coming in. The items change so rapidly in the store that you have to stop in all the time. Tools, lighting, washers, dryers, stoves, just the list goes on and on. It really has to be, you really have to come in and check it out. It's a huge fundraising tool for us. It's been wonderfully received by the town of Plymouth since we moved up here, and the donations have just been through the roof. We offer pickup with our box truck, and we go all over the place looking for good quality donations. We'd love to hear from you if you have donations. Don't hesitate. Call, stop by. I believe the number is listed, but it's 536-1333. And we're there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 9 to 5, and Saturday, 9 to 3. Always something happening there. It's really been wonderful. Just the different things that we're doing there. Building picnic tables. That's one of our plans for the spring. We're going to have a small garden. A lot of fun stuff that we want to do there. Keep it vibrant, keep it part of the community, and a destination for everyone in town to think of when they blow their toaster out. Come on down, or your microwave stops working. Tons of microwaves, stop by. While at the Restore, feel free to stop in and fill out a volunteer form if you're interested in any of the different aspects that we have that are associated with running the affiliate, the operating at the build sites. We're not always building brand new homes, even though that is one of the things we are doing, just not this year. So these restoration and renovation projects are crucial to servicing families locally just as much as a new home. We feel that we're able to reach more families by doing this year, and in the next year, hopefully we can continue to service more than just the families that were being serviced by a home. Obviously home building is a huge undertaking. A tremendous amount of volunteers are needed, and every one of those volunteers it's so appreciated, the effort that the skilled laborers all the way down to the novice bring to the job site, because there's so many different roles that each person can fill, whether it's landscaping to specialized work such as electrical and plumbing. Volunteers are crucial to the success of Pemi Valley Habitat, and without volunteers, we're pretty stagnant. We get stuck in the mud. So if you have any interest partnering with some wonderful people, we have a very strong volunteer pool right now that are super engaged and energized and want to be on the site and share information with new people that have a like-mindedness. It's a wonderful environment to be in, and usually we have food, and that's usually serviced by the local church groups, women's groups, different family centers, and they just come for the food. Come for the food, learn how to hammer something, and it'll be a wonderful experience that if we get you the first time, you're going to come back the second time, which is that's the idea. I'm Frank McLean with Pemi Valley Habitat, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at 536-1333. Stop by the Restore, that's where our affiliate office is, or on the internet at our Facebook page or at PemiValleyHabitat.org. Signing off.
Thanks for having us back at PVTV. I'm Josh. I'm from D Acres. D Acres is located up in Dorchester, New Hampshire, which is up Route 25 towards Wentworth and Warren, and then you take a left on Route 118. D Acres is a not-for-profit organic farm where we do community outreach to the general public. So we have demonstrations ongoing there in organic farming, as well as we have workshops and events and different public events in which we invite the public up to the farm. Our regularly scheduled events are the first Sunday we have a breakfast, and that's from 10 to 1 with a tour at 1 o'clock. And then on the second Friday we have a pizza night, pizza and a movie night. So in the evening we'll be showing a documentary as well as a kids movie, as well as pizza. And then on the last Friday of the month is open mic and community potluck, where the public is invited to bring food to share, as well as their talents they wish to broadcast, so to speak. Singing or music, poetry, any recitations would be awesome. All these events really focus on bringing the public together on a face-to-face format where we can get to know one another and share food, as well as connect with one another about what's going on in our lives, sort of socializing without the computers. The idea is also that it really highlights the local food, what we're able to produce in our region on a seasonal basis. So if you come to pizza night in the winter, you'll likely have potatoes and squash on your pizza. Whereas if you come in the summer, you might have seasonal vegetables like, cucumbers and carrots or some such. But the idea is really to focus on what's in season and what's available to us, as opposed to getting all our food from California or Chile or somewhere very far away. So that's the real focus, is to get people connected to the available food, as well as get people connected to each other. So on a monthly basis, those are the types of events that we offer. We also do different types of outreach to the community. We offer a permaculture design course, which allows people to get really immersed into the program at D-Acres. The design course takes place from May to November. We meet one weekend per month, and so folks come on Saturday and Sunday, and we'll go through the entire progression from really becoming aware of a site and doing the observation to doing design work to improve the site. This permaculture study is really about setting up systems, holistic systems that are integrated and have the capacity to persist. What we're really looking to do is set up sites and mechanisms in our society that are enduring and resilient, vibrant, versus systems that need constant energy inputs. The conventional systems, like if you build a house today, is very much dependent on electricity from outdoors, food from far away, whereas a permaculture design site has capacity to generate its own electricity, its own power, has capacity to generate its own food on site. So you're really gaining a lot more independence and self-sufficiency, really designing it into the system. So the permaculture design course is a real opportunity to see examples and then work on a project specifically related to your personal needs. So you can design a new construction, or you can design some upgrades to your existing property. Another thing we're doing at D-Acres is trying to get more involved in the school system. So our latest venture is a collaboration with Canaan Elementary. And over at Canaan right now, what we're doing is we have a liaison. Christina goes to Canaan Elementary about 20 hours per week and gets in the classroom and is working with kids on gardening education. And also, we are preparing an outdoor school garden at Canaan Elementary. So we're setting up beds, doing all the work necessary to really start gardening on site on the school grounds. So our involvement is liaison in the classroom, as well as really helping with the infrastructure on site. So that's exciting, and we really hope that D-Acres can serve the community into the future as being, the liaison, the consultant, sort of the catalyst for school gardening. We hope to continue that program with Canaan Elementary and get into recycling and composting on site so we can really minimize the waste that's going on the campus and get the youth to really consider that waste stream and where their food comes from. Another thing that we're doing on site is having more frequent kids days. So kids days are workshops or crafts or learning opportunities, more specifically for kids. Anyone 6 to 106 is welcome to attend, and the focus is, like last week we did bird houses. We also just had a recent one on reducing, reusing, and recycling. So it really gives kids an opportunity to get together out of the school setting, but still in a very hands-on, practical format. The best way to keep up with the kids' workshops at D-Acres is to check our website and the Facebook page. Another thing that we got going on at D-Acres is really trying to focus more on recreational opportunities in our area. So specifically right now we're really amping up our mountain biking on site. So getting the trails, so the single track is really fast and moving and challenging, yet also accessible to kids. There's a 10-year-old up there that's really ripping it good right now. He loves to get out on the trail, so it's exciting for us to improve the infrastructure as well as invite people from the area on up. We feel like mountain biking is one of those recreational opportunities that's under promoted in the Pemi Baker region. There's so much accessible terrain, and there's so many people from down south, Massachusetts, wherever, that are in crowded urban environments where they don't really have access to the open space that we have here. So if we can bring them up as tourists, then hopefully they'll do a little riding, have a good time, and also leave us some money. But also, it's really important, I think, for our youth in the area and the people that live here to get out and about on the trails, to get connected with nature, to really enjoy the wonderful nature that we have in our region. It's part of really having a great livelihood. And so what D Acres is trying to do is promote the opportunity and provide a location. So if people are interested in getting out on their bikes, feel free to come up to D Acres. We do have some great maps. And that being said, Dorchester, also the town itself has some wonderful opportunities. One of them that we'd like to highlight is on July 15th. Actually, I think it's July 16th. It's the Saturday in July. I think it's the 16th. And it's Dorchester Going Places. So that's a scholarship ride on Green Woodlands. And Green Woodlands is a very extensive private piece of property, and they have rides up to 20 miles long on dirt track around on their property. So Dorchester Going Places on July 16th, we'll meet at the Dorchester Town Hall, and then we're going to ride up through the mountains, so to speak, on Green Woodlands, up to 20 miles. There's different routes, 5, 10, and 20-mile loops that you can do. And so this is a great opportunity to get out with the family, go for a ride, sort of get to know new terrain and get to know Dorchester, as well as support the scholarship fund. That evening after the ride, D Acres will be hosting a pig roast, and we'll be having some live music as well. So you can make sort of a whole day adventure of it this July. Come on up to Dorchester for Dorchester Going Places, and you can stay and have some pig and enjoy some music in the evening. But a great opportunity to get out and hit the trails. Another thing that we have going on at D Acres this year is we're collaborating with the Plymouth State University Sustainable Building class led by Brian Felice. And what we're doing in collaboration with them is experimenting with building a tiny house. Tiny house is sort of this new concept in building, and it's all about really minimizing our construction, sort of building just the minimal square foot that we need versus, building rooms that we hardly go into. So the tiny house concept, we're actually building a house on a trailer that we can move around, and we'll give additional housing opportunities to people visiting D Acres or living there for a longer term. The idea too with this particular project, and it'll be interesting for folks from the public to come up and see, is we're trying to do the project with completely reused or recycled materials. So it's a tremendous experiment in recycling and reuse of building materials that really bodes well for the future, because I think there's so much opportunity within the building industry. There's so much waste that we can recapture and build for the future, use for the future. Low cost, but still very durable, and we're hoping to make it very aesthetic. Another thing that's happening that we do on an annual basis is a celebration of the pig. In the fall, we have a 3-day festival in which we are going to kill a pig and then attempt to use all the parts from nose to tail. What they say is everything but the squeal. The idea is to really cherish all the parts of the pig, make use of the many parts that have been used historically in our culture, and sort of get away from the contemporary model where it seems like people are just interested in pork chops and bacon. So what we're going to do is experiment with traditional recipes, charcuterie, looking to make like pancetta, prosciutto, the old world techniques that really not only enhance the flavor, but also make it possible to preserve this meat without the freezer. Because we all know anything that goes in the freezer doesn't taste as good as when it comes out, with the exception of ice cream. The freezer is also just a tremendous waste of energy. So what we want to do is get people together and experiment with these techniques. You know, even try stuff like head cheese and stuffing the intestines with sausage. You know, just trying these techniques that, you know, for centuries people used and benefited from, but have sort of forgotten with the advent of the convenience of the freezer, which, you know, we all know really is just sucking fossil fuels out of the ground and very wasteful mechanism. While it is convenient, there are better ways. So we really need to get together and practice those. So the Pork Fest will be happening in November of this year. Another exciting thing that's happening at D Acres is the Supper Club. This summer we're really blessed with some personnel additions, one of them being Dunstan Smith, who's just an excellent chef. And so Dunstan's more or less the key person in us having a supper club this summer. And so the idea will be on Thursday nights starting in May. I think just 1 week per month, one Thursday per month, we will be having a sit-down, prepared food that really focuses on the seasonality as well. So we'll be focusing on what's in season and serving that more or less like a restaurant. It will be a set menu, but we will have table service, and we have like a corking fee, so you can bring your own. And so it'll be very similar to a restaurant, but exceptional food preparation with a focus on the seasonality. So that's really something we're looking forward to as an addition this year. In addition to Dunstan, I think it's worthwhile to mention that we do have some other really strong stewards up at the farm these days. Jess Whitaker, who's from Canaan, is serving as our community fundraiser. And so she's taking over various aspects of grant writing and administration, advertising, sort of less being the backbone of our organization. So if you call up the D Acres or email us, you're likely to talk to Jess, and she's really this representative that's pulling all the different strings together and flying our kite. So the idea also is there's another Josh on the property, Josh Z, and we call him JZ, and he will rap for you if you ask nicely. But he's a guy that's, you know, graduated from college and spent a couple years in the city, and now he's trying to figure out really if that's what he wants to do, if he wants to stay in the rat race or if he wants to get out and spread his wings and be more independent. So he's spending a year with us. He's been up at the farm for about 8 months now, and really a steward of our organization. He's taking care of all the animals, and right now he's back at the farm taking care of all the plants. So it's crucial to have many hands involved in this project. In general, I think it's really important to make people aware that D Acres is open to the public. Our goal and our mission is to serve the public. So we invite you to come up, we invite you to participate in any and all ways, and just keep up with what's going on up there through the Facebook, through the YouTube. There's lots of great videos. We have like over 200 videos now and 500,000 views or whatnot. It's very popular, so feel free to take advantage of it on the local level, as so many people are internationally. Another thing is we do have the book out. The Community Scale Permaculture Farm is available at this library, as well as you can get it online, or you could just come up to the farm and read it if you're interested. But we definitely, our main focus is to get you up to the farm and, you know, sort of taking in the sights and the smells and the inspiration of that location. But if you can't make it to the farm, feel free to get in touch with us if you have specific questions about raising animals or gardening or anything. We're really there to serve you. And so we feel like that's our request. Please take advantage of it, and we hope to see you soon.
Hi, I'm Jess Dutel from the Pemi Youth Center, and it's a pleasure to be here on behalf of our organization to tell you more about the work that we're doing. The Pemi Youth Center is a nonprofit serving as an after-school and empowerment program for youth ages 10 through 17 at no cost to families. We provide a variety of enriching after-school program components, including academic assistance, mentoring, arts and recreational activities, STEM activities, empowerment groups, substance misuse prevention, a collaborative with Squam Lakes Natural Science Center, and much more. We also have the opportunity to cook with our youth participants each afternoon, so they have the opportunity to eat before heading home in the evening. The majority of our staff are Plymouth State University students who provide exceptional mentoring for our youth participants. For all of us involved, the Pemi Youth Center is like an extended family, and we work hard to support our youth, to inspire them to practice love and compassion in efforts to make our community a better place. We have been privileged to be a part of so many beautiful stories at the Youth Center and the lives of our youth participants. They have truly grown in so many ways, and it is a true pleasure to be a part of it. We do have a very exciting fundraising opportunity coming up thanks to our friends at Plymouth General Dentistry. We have a comedy night at the Flying Monkey, which will take place on April 30th at 7:30 p.m. And it is an opportunity for our adult supporters to get together and have some laughs to benefit the youth of our community. I want to just extend our sincere gratitude to everyone who supports the Youth Center, who is a contributor, a partner, a friend, a volunteer. We live in an amazing community, and it is so wonderful to be a part of such a strong and supportive place that cares so deeply about the well-being of our youth. Again, my name is Jess Dutel from the Pemi Youth Center. Thanks so much for watching.
Hello, my name is Susan Gannett, and I'm the president of Artistic Roots. And we have a lot of things happening in our gallery, which is located at 73 Main Street in downtown Plymouth. We are a cooperative gallery, and all of our members jury in. We currently have 32 members, but there's always room for some more. In addition to our juried members, we have a visiting artists program, which allows local artists or artists with a tie to the area to show their work for a period of 3 to 4 months. To welcome them into the community, we offer a reception at the beginning of their turn, and we advertise it on our website and in the newspaper so that people are aware of what's going on at our gallery. We offer teaching classes, and the classes are done on a monthly basis, and this includes a free knitting class that's opened every Sunday from 2 to 4, and anyone can join it. One of our past members helps to run that organization, and people are there every Sunday from 2 to 4 knitting up a storm. We also offer classes for a small fee, though that fee usually includes the materials that you need to complete whatever project is going on. Classes have been held in photography, they've been held on Zen doodling, watercoloring, drawing, jewelry making, just to name a few of the classes that have been offered in the recent months. Those too are advertised monthly in the newspaper, so you know what's coming up. Our classes are for children of all ages. So we've done some workshops for kids. For example, we did a gingerbread workshop this winter around Christmas time. We've done Zen doodling for kids at Valentine's Day. And we continue to add more classes for our younger students as well. Our artists do classes right there at the gallery, and sometimes we'll hold them in their house if they need special machinery that can't be used or gotten at the gallery itself. We also offer a chance for visiting teachers to come in and teach. This month we had Alma Grand come in and do a lesson on art in hand, which dealt with foam printing, and it was a great success. We've had basket weaving done at the gallery and caning as well. We're always ready to listen if someone would like to be a teacher or would like a certain class held. We're more than happy to try and accommodate you. We are a nonprofit organization, and as a nonprofit organization, we are seeking right now corporate, business, and patrons, sponsors, and friends of Artistic Roots. We're hoping that by doing this, we won't have to do as many fundraising events as we've done in the past. The one that will stay with us is our Super Bowl. The Super Bowl runs right before the real Super Bowl in February and features a lot of our Potter's bowls and then a wide variety of soup from local restaurants. The local restaurants provide the soup at no cost and everybody votes on their favorite. Some of the members provide desserts and breads and some of the soups as well. That is advertised in the local paper, and for $25 you get to keep your bowl and to eat as many of the different soups as you'd like. It's a great family event that we've been holding for 13 years and is well received by the public. We also have a wide variety of things in the shop, from pottery to woodworking to all sorts of paintings, both acrylic, watercolors and oils and pastels. We have weaving. We have an excellent weaver with us right now. We have 9 different jewelers that are with us that do everything from beading to making their own glass beads to silversmiths. It's a great place to shop for local goods. We also have a woodworker who's with us who does great turned tables and wonderful bowls. Our potters are very varied and cover a wide variety of different styles, and it's fun to see what they're doing. We offer cards. Cards seem to be at a shortage around the area, and we frequently have people come in just to buy our artists' cards. One of the newest art things that have come to the gallery is our ink alcohol tiles, and they're very pretty and a lot of fun to even make if you happen to catch Pam Sharon in one of her classes. Artistic Roots sets out to help the community as well. We've been part of ETC, which is the Educational Theater Cooperative, for the last 2 years and have donated over $1,000 worth of merchandise to their silent auction as a way to support what they're doing in the community. We give to keep the heat on. We've given to Community Closet. We hope to continue to be able to do that. Individual artists also give out their work to be auctioned or sold as a way of raising funds for nonprofits that are not ourselves. Artistic Roots is an amazing place, and I hope you'll come and visit us either to take a class or to see all the wonderful things that we have going on there and to buy from New Hampshire artists. Classes vary in size from 1 to 10. And it depends on what's being taught and who's teaching it, how many students are there. But on the monthly description of the class, you'll see how many students are available to come. One of our other classes, which I forgot to mention, was an embroidery class that Jen Alba has been running for the last, I would say almost a year now. And her pieces are really great, including bringing your own article of clothing in to embroider on.
Hi, I'm Matt Thornton. I'm the head of school at Mountain Village Charter School here in Plymouth. We're the nation's first nature-based charter school in the whole country. What is a charter school? A lot of people have asked us that. Charter school is a public, tuition-free charter by the state of New Hampshire. We are required to follow the same set of public school standards, and we have a mandate to innovate. So our experiential learning model is based on a fusion of nature-based and Montessori practices. What is Montessori? Montessori education is a 100-year-old tradition that focuses on respect for the child. We believe that learning is in our nature. And that means that every child can learn to their utmost potential when given the right kind of prepared environment. That environment includes a multi-age classroom. It includes hands-on materials that engage not only the mind, but also the body. It also includes a practice of independence and structured choice. Our nature-based model is based on research that shows that children's outcomes, both mentally, physically, and socially, are improved when spending significant time outdoors. Our students spend over 2 hours every day outdoors in free exploration, in lessons, and in sit spots where they will contemplate, observe the nature around them. We know that this improves both their mental acuity when they're in the classroom or outside. Again, learning is in our nature, both because we have an innate capacity to learn and we respect every child's ability to do so. And it's in our nature. We have 38 acres of wooded terrain where we are free to explore, and hundreds more that we have access to. We've seen an amazing growth over the last year and a half, and we will continue to grow. We have students from first, currently through fourth grade, and we will be growing to the 8th grade. We have a new master plan as we develop our facilities that will encompass this fusion of nature-based and Montessori approaches. We welcome you to come and visit our website at mountainvillagecharterschool.org to learn more.
Hello, I'm Judy Floyd.
And I'm Alma Grand.
We're here to tell you about an important new committee in town, but first we have to give you some background. I'll give you some clues because there's something that's been in our town since 1774, and a lot of people aren't aware of it. It is 34 feet by 34 feet. It has been moved to 3 different locations, and this clue will give it all away. It's the oldest wooden framed courthouse in New Hampshire and beyond. It's our old Daniel Webster courthouse, and it has quite a history, very colorful. In 1774, the King of England said that Plymouth could build a courthouse because it had been chosen as a shire town. So of course the important building in town was Webster's Tavern, and so they thought a proper place would be right beside Webster's Tavern. So as the building was going up and public blockades were out there and public flogging in front of the tavern as they tried to sell dinners, Mrs. Webster, Colonel Webster's wife, came out and said, please, can this town of Plymouth move this courthouse to another location? So they thought about it and they decided that would be fine with them. And they took the courthouse building and they moved it up to the corner of Russell and Pleasant Street, where it was a courthouse for many years. In fact, in 1806, Daniel Webster pled one of his first cases there, and it remained there as a courthouse until 1823. Then a bigger courthouse was needed, and they moved this little building down to the area of Rite Aid on South Main Street. And there it served Plymouth again. It was a school, it was a Wainwright or wheelwright shop, and a paint shop. When it became the Wainwright shop, it was becoming really run down. In fact, it looked a bit like this. And it even was worse from some other pictures. But the wheelwright shop was a very important shop, so it continued to be a really big part of Plymouth, because back then they used wagons and they had to have their wheels fixed, and without wagons and wheels they couldn't get around town or to any other place. But one day Senator Henry Blair, a very respected man, a lawyer of this area, went by this broken down building, and his heart was broken because to him it was a temple of justice and education. And he said, I must move this building to more hallowed ground, and I am going to restore it so that it can again stand for what it did before. And this is what he did. And it's just amazing to think of Plymouth having this little building that is so very old, and they kept finding a new use for it. And now Alma will tell you of 2 more uses.
Well, I'm going to tell you about the Young Ladies Library Association. But before I do that, I want to tell you just a little bit personal story of my own. When we moved to Plymouth in 1977 to this area, we had to find a library, and the Daniel Webster Courthouse was the library. My husband, my 3 daughters, and I very much enjoyed the library. It was warm, cozy, welcoming. We just fell in love with the building, and the librarian, Pat Toppin, was just the best. Helpful and cheerful, and just made us all feel so welcome and at home. So that was my introduction to that building. And then when I found out about the history of it and the fact that the young ladies owned the building, well, then I decided that I had to become a young lady. So I've been a young lady for many years, not so young, but yes, I've been a young lady for many years. In 1873, 14 young ladies, teenagers really, banded together and started a lending library, a circulating library. They really spent some of their own money buying the books. They had fairs, they had teas, and they just were passionate about books, what books offer for education, and quality literature for the area. For 3 years, from 1873 to 1876, they worked out of some little upstairs building in town. But in 1876, as Judy said, Senator Blair presented the old Webster Courthouse to the Young Ladies Library Association, the YLLA. For 112 years, that was our town library. The young ladies, from what I understand, paid the librarian's salary, and they also maintained the building for all those years. And after that, in 1991, they had outgrown their space and they needed a new library. And once again, the Young Ladies Library Association funded the building of the new library. They had invested their money wisely and were able to do that, which was quite an accomplishment for a small group. When they outgrew that new space and they needed to expand, again, the young ladies, in fact, I was out in the town asking for money. We went out and asked for money, and we donated over $100,000 to the new addition. So you can see that the young ladies have done a lot for the library. That's been their main focus throughout their existence. They have raised money for excellent programs, Prescription Read, where they have books for young children through the doctor's offices, quality books for children. Through book sales and bake sales, we've raised money. They've had scholarships. So they've done wonderful, amazing things for the town and the library. And as long as they were doing all these wonderful things, they also, at all times, had the responsibility, the obligation to their original home for their books, the Daniel Webster Courthouse. And this building, has such a rich history, and we have to value that history, we have to respect that history, we have to honor that history. And so now I'm going to turn this over to Judy so she can tell you about what happened when the ceiling in our courthouse collapsed.
Well, we can't forget about what happened in 1993, when the Historical Society, would you like to?
An important detail.
Yes.
When the library moved to the new library, the young ladies were gracious enough to offer that space to the Historical Society so that they could house their collection, and they have their museum there. So since the young ladies moved the library to the new library, the Historical Society have had that space, and it's been their space for their collection.
So they also call it the Memory House. I really like that addition to the name. So in 2015, Plymouth was all red, white, and blue, and parades, and great things were happening. Many pamphlets, and a book was written, 5 More Decades in the History of Plymouth. The Historical Society, Steve Rand and Lisa Landari really outdid themselves, and everyone else in town. We were all celebrating. But at the very last day of the celebration, we were all preparing for New Year's Eve. We got this call that the ceiling in the courthouse had fallen, half of it. First of all, we were happy that no one was in there and hurt. So we all rushed there, and I happened to be there at the scene. It was a great time to see Plymouth come together. People were saying, I know an electrician, he'll come on this holiday. And it just gave you a great feeling of belonging. And so we did. When it was through falling, we had a mess, and it has taken us 3 years. We had a wonderful contractor, Steve Bedard, who believes in restoring, not replacing. And he said, I can replace this wood bead ceiling. And he did, and it just glows at you. It's wonderful. But it made us all think that even though the young ladies had taken very good care of this building for many years, we walked around the building and we could see that the water was kind of wearing away the foundation, and the heating system was unkind to our Plymouth collection that tells all about our town. And we decided, we just got together, we were part of the young ladies as it began, and we just felt that we needed to form a committee. So now we have a new committee in town called the Old Webster Courthouse Fund Committee. You will hear about our website soon, but we have decided to get money to make major repairs to that building, to treat it as the great historic building it is. I was at a meeting yesterday, and Alma was too, and Tom Saman said, you know, people have loved this building to keep it all these years. And Steve Rand, who wrote a one-page history, said, the people in Plymouth just kept reinventing uses. No one seemed to think of tearing it down and using it for firewood. And so we are so grateful to have this opportunity to improve it. And so we've been meeting for about a year. There are historical society members, there are interested citizens, there are young ladies, and we've decided the best way we can go ahead to save our history, which is the title of our collection fund. And so right now we're busy applying for an LCHIP grant and a Preservation Alliance grant, and very soon we will be thinking of all kinds of ways to raise money so that we can keep this precious building for the future. We have done such a good job so far. It's our duty to help the young ladies and to all of us own this building and say, I care about it. I will do something to help it. So this is why we're here today.
And we want our children and our grandchildren,
Yes,
and maybe
we
our
do.
great-grandchildren, to be able to appreciate and enjoy that building. And if any of you would like to read more about the history of the courthouse, or if you would like to donate toward its preservation, we have a new website, hot off the press, just produced yesterday, finished up yesterday, and it's the Old Webster Courthouse. The address is oldwebstercourthouse.org, and it's on the screen. So, also one last thing. If it wasn't for Judy Floyd, this all wouldn't be happening. She has been all along,
right from the beginning.
She has been so supportive of the courthouse and its history, and she's like the little engine that could, you know, the Energizer Bunny. She's kept us all going. The committee wouldn't be formed, and Catherine said that today, if it wasn't for Judy Floyd.
Well, our committee has to keep up with this courthouse. It has 20,000 lives. But also, our tenants are the Historical Society. Yes, and it's very important for me and Alma to announce that they are reopening on Saturday, June 4th, from 10 to 2. They're going to have quite a celebration. I understand that Daniel Webster might be making a visit. And also on May 21st, they're starting their first annual plant sale to raise money for their society. And so if you're a great gardener, please bring your extra plants that you have no more room for. We would love to sell them and as a donation to the society. We just have a lot going on, and we're planning many new exhibits and programs in the future. The Historical Society is.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so my name is Holly Sakala. I'm the Director of Recovery Support Services for an organization called Hofer, New Hampshire. We are a recovery community organization, which is a grassroots movement of people in recovery and their family members. This is recovery from addiction. And we are in the process of setting up 5 recovery community centers throughout New Hampshire. Sites are open in Manchester and Newport, New Hampshire, with sites 2 open in Concord, Claremont, and Berlin currently. These centers are opening, there's a need in the community that fits our mission to get addiction sufferers and their families well. And B, there was an ask from the community for Hope for New Hampshire to come in and help them bolster up some recovery support services in their neighborhood for their community members. So today we're in Plymouth because we get the same ask of some of the recovery community members in Plymouth. Being a college town, I'm hopeful to share some of the information about collegiate recovery programs and things like that in Plymouth. We have basically founded a sustainability system that is not solely reliant on state funds, so that we've been able to find a sustainability model just outside of public funding only. And some of your local business people are interested in retaining our services of recovery coaching and telehealth recovery services, things like that. So Plymouth has been identified as a community that's here that would like to have a recovery community center that is kind of bolstered up by the people that are in recovery in Plymouth and the businesses that want to support that center coming in and those services provided to their employees and their employees' family members. So that being said, what is a recovery community center, right? Well, it's like a recovery community center with a twist, right? We're really trying to get people to reach their full potential, to elongate remission periods for addiction, really help people embrace a healthier lifestyle, be able to connect with social activities that are alcohol and drug free. So college towns, kids like to have fun. They don't have to do it while they're drinking and drugging. A recovery community center is an alternative to that. You know, we do things like rent to 12-step meetings. They might come in and do some meetings, faith-based meetings, all recovery meetings, yoga, Reiki, nutrition classes, resume writing workshops, health and wellness, overarching, trauma survivor groups. We do a number of family support groups for the family members affected by addiction. And we have family liaison coaches that can deal with the family members who are kind of trying to get through this because it's taxing on a whole family. So Plymouth being an identified area where all of these kind of variables have come together is what's brought us here today. And today is just about a community meeting for the rest of the community to get to know who Hope is, what we do, how we do it, and what is it all about. So that's really what we're here for today, is just to kind of further educate and make the community aware, you know, that there is this kind of thing going on, that there's this interest and this momentum from the recovery community to come out and help their neighbors who need help. We have done the same community meeting style information session in the cities that we're in now, such as Manchester, Concord, you know, Claremont, Newport, Berlin. When a community reaches out and they want the help, we're trying to be action-oriented because we do have a pretty severe epidemic out there. And we want people to know that there's alternatives, that people can and do recover.